Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another custom tactics video. Look, I've done a lot of tactics videos before. I've tried out so many different formation systems and whatnot, but this, in my opinion, is by far the craziest, most intense system and formation I have used. It's by far the most fun as well because I always try and replicate some sort of real life system. And this, obviously, a couple months ago, I uploaded the 4-3-3 fifth variation with the center forward. With this, I'm using a second variation. Right now, I'm gonna warn you, it's insane. It looks insane. You're gonna look at it and go, "There's no way that works," but I promise you, it works. I tried it in FUT Champs. I got 16 wins. I could have got even more if I was focusing. I was just reading chat, playing an autopilot a lot of the games. I barely play rivals and I got promoted to Division 2 like it was nothing. It's there you go. So I'll explain everything. I'll explain how it works. But obviously it's the second variation, so it's the one with the DM, and it's press after possession loss. Just to go back to my earlier point, a couple months ago I uploaded a video on the fifth variation, and it was the same sort of concept where, you know, the fullbacks help out and the wingers stay wide, and it's about, like, you know, I was trying to do like the Arsenal sort of system. This is even more like Arsenal type City slash, you know, basically high press possession, keeping the ball, you know, making sure you dominate against your opponent. And the idea is to keep the ball in the final third, get the ball to the final third, and, you know, you'll always have gaps. And I'll explain it in a second. So let me just go through the tactics real quick. So it's press after possession loss, one width, because you want to be as compact as possible when you don't have the ball. 100 depth, because, you know, like, you could go listen, you could lower it down, but no, 100 depth. You want to be as high on the pitch as possible. You want to control the game. You don't want your opponent to have the ball. You don't want that. Build up is on balanced. Chance creation is on possession, because you want your players to, you know, be able to be, you know, close to each other, so you always have a passing option, and you always will have a passing option. Players in a box is on 10, and I'll explain why in a second. Corners and free kicks are on 1. You can have that on 2. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. Instructions. Now, the instructions are huge in this. You need to pay attention here. You have to pay attention to the instructions. So, left winger and the right winger, both of them, are on comeback on defense, stay wide, get into the box, and aggressive interceptions. Both of them. Because you want them to be by the touchline. You want them to be touchline wingers. You want them to provide the width so that your fullbacks, or if you want to, you know, switch play, all your midfielders can always find them, and they'll always have a gap in there. And I'll try and link some clips as well. You want them to also come back on defense and aggressive interceptions, because if you lose the ball, you want them to be pressing high and win the ball back. If they don't, you want them to come back and provide support. So that's for the wingers. For the striker, you want them to drift wide, force 9, aggressive interceptions, and come back on defense. Again, very aggressive. And I'll tell you this right now, the aggressive interceptions is an instruction that I'm loving so far. The only thing that will happen, though, is in the second half, around the 60th minute, you might need to use subs if your players have low stamina. So you will need good subs. Ideally, you need 5 subs on the bench, so use that. For the 2 center mids, I've got aggressive interceptions and free roam, cover wing. That's about it for them too. So aggressive interceptions and free roam, and again, I'll explain in a sec why. The CDM, I've got cut passing lanes, drop between defenders, cover center. And the 2 fullbacks, I've got them on balanced and inverted. And for the 2 center backs, I've got them on step up. So basically every single player has an instruction. And for the keeper, there's comes for crosses and sweeper. Now, I'm going to show you exactly why I have what I have. Because it's not just there for the sake of it. It's not because it's there because it's meta. No, it's there because it works, and I've tested it. So in possession, what happens is I have the two wingers out wide like this. The strikers around here. The two midfielders are always playing and floating around this area. They're like two number 10s. The DM is around this area to provide that sort of link up for the triangle. The two centre backs are as high up the pitch as possible, and the the fullbacks are around this area to provide support. So they're inverted. So when you have the ball around this area, they'll be around here. If your wingers go in, they'll provide the support and they fill in that position. But more time they'll just hang around this area. And basically, if you have the ball on the left side, and I've explained that on the previous video, if you have the ball on the left side, the best way to find space is to quickly, keep it for a second, be a bit patient, and link up with your midfielders, DM, and then switch it to the right side quickly. So create those overloads, and then if you have good wingers, and you need good wingers, you need good pacey wingers, skillful, good dribbling, that can basically take on players. And if you have a 1v1, a winger versus a fullback, if you do like a skill move, roulette, whatever, right, and you find yourself in the box, you'll have everyone making a run here, because in the tactics it's 10 players in the box. So they'll make a run and you'll find yourself a easy tap-in. And I've scored so many of them goals. And a lot of times you don't do that. That doesn't happen, right? Your opponent defends and they intercept the ball. And that's when this tactic, in my opinion, is at its strongest. If you learn how to defend counters, this is where this is the strongest position you find yourself in, because you can lose the ball, right? And you have so many players forward, but that's the key, because you have this situation right here. Your center backs, they'll on step up. One of them usually goes in there. So you have this sort of scenario, and that's why you need very quick center back. I've got Tamori, right? And he's very quick, and usually he hangs around this area. So if they have two strikers, one of the strikers drops in because the center back is always marking them. So they step up and they find little to no gaps. And if they do find gaps, you basically just have to run back. But a lot of times you win the ball back there, and it basically just creates chaos, and you can find an easy through ball or an easy chance, and you can score, because it's so difficult to get out of this sort of press. It's basically constant pressure. The key here is to not lose the ball around this area of the pitch. You want to be losing it around here, because if you lose it and you counter press, you can get yourself good chances. I've scored a lot of goals where I lost the ball, my opponent gets it back, they try and through ball, they try and play out, and they get pressed and they lose the ball, and I instantly get an easy chance. So that's the key. Defensively though, if you do lose the ball and you have to track back, defensively it's if you play over 75 depth, your players basically do the offside trap. So what happens is you're constantly you in this sort of position here, and your defenders are constantly doing offside traps. It's very good. It's not easy to bypass, because if you trap back with your midfielders and your second man pressing with your defenders, it's very difficult to bypass that, because you have two banks of, well, not two banks of four, but if your wingers come back, it can become that, and you're basically not allowing any sort of space. And because of the one width, it becomes they're literally this. So your opponent has to go out wide, and once you learn, you might struggle to learn it in the first game or two, but once you learn that, once you get used to it, it will be so worth it. It's very fun. Give it a try, and you'll see, because I know I've seen people try it on my stream, and they've enjoyed it. It's not for everyone, but it's by far the most, if you want to play a proper top team, proper possession, high press, this is it. This is the one. 4-3-3, high press, 100. You want to commit to it. You got to commit to it. You got to learn it. You got to commit to it with the players as well. So if you look at my players, I don't have the best team at the moment, because I'm saving for team of the year, and I'll have a big team of the year pack opening. Make sure to check it out. Link will be in the description on my Twitch. The key here is to have a very good DM, medium high ideally. I got a Vieira, 2 very good box to box. A lot of these players like Thiago, Park Ji-sung, these guys are gonna end up in the box. So you want them to be players that can finish, that can dribble, right, and have high stamina. Wingers need to be able to take on players, be quick, skillful, and a striker, same thing, same with a striker, right? High finishing, pace, basically the strike. Fullbacks are very important in this. I hate the fact that I've got Theo and he's there temporarily and I'll switch him out. Perisic is very good because he can actually invert and he can dribble, pass, and do everything basically. Play like a midfielder. You want your fullbacks to be quick and be like midfielders, basically. Centre backs need to be very quick. And yeah, man, that's it. That's the formation. That's the system. Let me know if it's good and it works for you, and let me know if you enjoyed it. Yeah, make sure to come to the Twitch. Link will be in the description, and I'll see you next time for more.